My pleasure to welcome to the program the guy behind Think Farm, John Peachey. JP, kia ora, good morning. Thanks very much for your time today.
Hello, young man. Good to be here as always.
How's it
Fresh
going?
coffee in my hand, so I can't complain.
Well, very, very glad to hear it. Now, in the cryptic text that you sent me this morning whilst we were discussing via messenger service what we might chat about today, a travel log question which intrigued me.
Yes.
About the Grand Canyon. And have I been? No, never been to the Grand Canyon. Of course, this is a setup for me to reciprocate. So, John, have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
Yeah. And I got to say, no, haven't actually. But
Gosh, two experts on this topic.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible, really. All the travel brokers will be on the phone any moment now offering me packages, deals and things. So, but what I do know about the Grand Canyon, let me give you some technical descriptions of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
It's 450 kilometers in length.
Wow.
It's a very, very big canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And at its deepest point, it's over a mile deep, or 1,856 meters or something.
Yeah.
It's a massive scar, I guess you call it, on the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
But, when you go to visit the Grand Canyon, and I've done a little bit of research, you end up walking out on these suspended platforms with some railings around it, and you get to have a look at a little tiny, tiny piece of the Grand Canyon. And I was kind of thinking about the fact that, when real strange link, but when we get afraid in the church of the world, when we get afraid of what's going on, we forget that there's a bigger Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
The Grand Canyon was carved all those millennia ago by the Colorado River.
Yeah.
And it was prepared in advance. And being really spiritual about it, when Paul writes to the church of Corinth, in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, and also he's quoting directly from Isaiah 64, he says, "What no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things that God has prepared for those who love him."
Yeah.
When we get afraid of the world, we become short-sighted. We only see a tiny bit of the canyon.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see the fact that he's been out preparing stuff for us in the future. And in fact, that scripture, in that scripture, it uses the word prepared.
Yep.
It means those who've gone ahead and smoothed the road for you, those who've gone literally prepared the road for you to walk down. I've been reflecting on this over the last couple of weeks because my lovely neighbour Cam, such a good guy, he's been rebuilding the fence between our properties, and he's built a ginormous fence. Actually, he's built this huge fence.
Pretty good at fence building, is Cam.
Very good at fence building, and he's he won't be listening at this time of day, be working, but he's pedantic. I mean, he is so particular and pedantic. This fence is a work of art. I mean, it's just beautiful. But the tragedy is over the last few weeks when he knocked down the old fence and got rid of it and had to bring in a digger and all the bits and pieces, we were having these conversations.
Oh.
And I was watching him build a fence, and I was helping him from time to time hold some timber and that and do bits and pieces. And when he finally put all the tall palings on, and they're about 2 meters tall, all of a sudden Cam disappeared behind us. And the conversations have come to a halt because there's a fence between us. And I was thinking, don't we do this in the church? We build these better and better fences.
Yeah.
We prevent ourselves, and we don't see what God is doing on a wider level. We just get afraid, But no eye has seen, no ear has heard what God has prepared for us. There's a Grand Canyon out there for us because He's prepared for us. So it's an odd subject, but it's just been bugging me, the whole fence thing.
I'm trying to work these two together because I get the fence thing, and I've got this image of you as the neighbour. And what was that sitcom show where you could only see the top of the neighbour's head?
Oh yeah, Wilson. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tim Allen. That's right. Yeah, the old fellow next door.
Yeah. You'd need a pretty good stepladder to be able to see over a 2 meter fence. So I'm getting that.
It's really high.
Now, let's see. I'm going to take a leap of faith here, not into the Grand Canyon, but about it. When they do these platforms at the Grand Canyon, they have a railing, but they don't build a 2 meter fence at the viewing platform, do they?
No, they don't. But they build these things. Our tourist spots. They build these little kind of visitor platforms. So you can see a piece of it. You see only a little piece of it. but it's 450 kilometers long. You've got to get amongst it and experience it. You've got to do more than just do the touristy thing. And I think sometimes in church we just do the touristy thing, right? We get safe because we have a limited knowledge of God, and we don't understand that He's prepared all these wonderful things for us. So we only see the tiny little bits of what God is doing. But actually, He's saying, if you trust me, you've got no idea the size of this canyon that I prepared for you, the size of this wonder that you're going to enjoy. And we've just got to open up, I think, to the fact that God is doing more, and He's not afraid, and we shouldn't hide behind fences.
Yeah.
We should just get out there and do what we need to do.
I'm loving the metaphor, and I mean, like you say, the Grand Canyon was created by God a long time before anybody was around to put adjectives on it. And I mean the same. Right. I mean, you and I have chatted about this before. The same is true of the universe. As we discover more and more of the universe, we discover how incredibly beautiful it is. It was beautiful before we built the telescopes strong enough to see it. It was just beautiful because that's how God rolls, right?
Mate, and that is a whole week series. That the fact the universe was beautiful before anyone can ever see it. That's a stunning metaphor from really what I'm saying here. Actually, the universe was beautiful before we even saw it. I mean, that's what God has got prepared for us, eh? And what else has He got prepared for us? So we shouldn't be afraid, And I love there's a statement that says, don't build higher fences, build longer tables.
Nice.
And I think that's always the answer, right? We tend to hide from society when it seems like society is having a go at us, that our morals are being challenged, our laws are being challenged. But don't build fences, build bigger tables. Invite more people to meals with you, to sit down and break bread together. I suppose that's the only way that we get through it.
Exactly. I suppose that is the solution for you and Cam, just doing a little bit of sort of relationship counselling here as well, JP. Just invite him over for a meal. Yeah, okay, you can't see into his backyard anymore. And hey, privacy, that can be a very good thing. But you just need to invite each other to come around the fence and share meals together. Either that, I was thinking about, the fences they put up at construction sites, and they have little holes in them so you can watch the construction happening. I wonder how Cam would feel if you got out your battery drill and drilled a little hole just so that you could stay in contact with him by peering into his backyard.
Yeah. I'm thinking jail time would be the response to that, probably. But I'm with you in heart, though. I know where you're going. So yeah, no, absolutely, and you're totally right. Actually, is I need to invite him over for coffee and for a beer. Actually doesn't drink. I've invited him for a beer when he was building this fence on a hot day.
Yeah,
I admire him. He said, no, but I'll drink your coffee. I'm like, oh, well, okay, that's a risk. But you're welcome to do that.
Take him up on that offer, and I also love the idea of saying, you know what, we see a part of who God is. We see a part of the canyon. We see a part of the universe. We see in part through a mirror darkly. I think the old King James describes it as. But we don't. This side of heaven, we don't get to see exactly what God is doing in our lives. But if we can take just a little bit of it and extrapolate that in our minds, I think minds will be blown, John.
Well, I think they will. And it's fascinating you quote that piece of scripture, because that piece of scripture really undoes me at times, because it says, one day, we see through a glass darkly. Yeah. But it says one day we will know even as we are fully known.
Wow.
And there's a bit of frightening about that, but there's a bit of a surety in the fact that God knows all of us, right? We are fully known by the God of heaven. That's a scary but a wonderful, wonderful thing. So yeah, cool, bro.
No, super good indeed. And I don't know, have a talk to your good lady. Perhaps we could do like holidays together to the Grand Canyon. Here we come, son.
Yeah. No, I'm for it. We've got to go. My daughter now lives in the States. Okay. Sadly.
Well,
she's become an American, and we have to go.
Yeah. Well, look, sign me up for that. We'll do Vegas on the way back and win our money back. Only joking about that, but I'll probably still get the texts anyway. JP, always a pleasure to chat with you, sir. Thanks very much for being on the program today.
Yeah, catch you on the way back. All right, cheers.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.